Tervetuloa Tyrnävä Showhun. Ossi Tiihosen puhe, European Conference of Health and Human Rights, eli eurooppalainen konferenssi, terveyden ja ihmisoikeuksien eurooppalainen kongressi. Ja tässä on suomalainen tekstitys koneälyllä tehty. Tämän kesto on 15-20 minuuttia, niin minäpä laitan pyörimään.
Ossi Tiihonen from Finland. So, welcome. I'm sorry we are a little bit in a hurry, but I hope you manage on time. Thank you.
I hope. Can I have my presentation? Just 6 slides, and first will be the topic. My topic is Finland the most brainwashed country on earth? And a few words of myself. I have done other things than politics too. In 2018, I switched to the politics side. Before that, I was founder of a telemedicine company in 2002, and I had 25 doctors working for me. So I have done many things in my life already, other than politics. The one who got me activated in the politics was this climate change hoax. I have known for 30 years that it's a total lie. So in 2018, I decided that I had to do something for it because I had time and money, and I have said that I will be a millionaire in the politics. My value goes down to €1,000,000. So we founded the Freedom Alliance Party 3 years from this moment, and we got 1% votes in the last parliamentary elections, and just 1%. And why is that? Most Finns don't even know that this kind of party exists. Mainstream media doesn't even bark on us. They don't want us to be recognized or even known. And you have a much better situation here in Estonia. You have a 10% EKRE in the parliament. In Finland, there's just one party in the parliament. There are different fractions, and they just change the actor. They're in the government, but the policies go on similar. Like there is said that we have a conservative parliament in Finland, but that doesn't apply. It's the same socialist, globalist government as the previous one. So there may be some other countries that are more brainwashed, like North Korea or something, but Finland is probably the second. I will state this later today. Can I have the second slide? We all know in somewhere in March 2020 or February there came a new deadly virus, and I too went to the grocery store and bought some supplies, and I thought, okay, this is it. But quite soon, in 4 weeks, I started to think that there's something very rotten in this, because my network brought me info that this is not true. I thought, why is that? But it comes from the climate change hoax. From the critical point of view, per persons gave me this info, and I watched from the YouTube that there was stories from Sukarit Bagdi and John Pejoannidis, and when they were censored from the YouTube, that was the clinging tone for me that there has to be something very wrong here. And I started to watch the statistics. I wrote my first blog post in March 2020, and I started to look up the total mortality figures. And there were a few very funny things according to the state of the events. Can I have the next slide? Oh, I have this. Finnish government even made the thorough assessment reports of all the masks in May 2020. And it said quite clearly that masks doesn't work. It was done by a very prominent epidemiologist, former professor, and quite large group of other scientists. And they said that, okay, they don't work. Media confused quite a lot of this. But in 6 months, they turned it totally around. Everybody had to wear masks. In summer 2020, I watched total mortality figures from the Statistics Finland, and there was no excess mortality in total mortality, nothing. I thought, okay, when I show these figures, I have to convince some of the politicians and officials that there's nothing to be worried about. And I watched what happened in Sweden. I also watched Sweden's figures, and there was the same thing, nothing very special. And Anders Tegnell was in Sweden very informed about this thing. It turned later in Sweden too, but the mortality figures there was no pandemia. There was even in Finnish social and healthcare ministry, there was criteria what is pandemia. It was not even close there, and they still said that there's a pandemia. Total lie. Well, media in Finland, all the politicians, except for example me, they are afraid of the media. Media controls the Finland, not politicians. And every politician fear of the media. They are not allowed to tell the truth. And here in Estonia, the situation is much better. Can I have the next slide? Here's total mortality figures now, quite few, I think 3 weeks ago I made this slide. There is, we are here. These are the winter flu season from week 40, from the autumn to the spring week 20 in Finland. Usually the mortality goes up in the winter because every winter there are some kind of infection or epidemic. And there was nothing here in the winter 2019 to 20 and 20 to 21, nothing. And they said, we have a pandemia. It wasn't in Finland, at least. And the death rates went up in May or June 2021 from the second shot. First shot didn't kill people first in the, let's say, 5 months. But in the second shot, it rose up immediately. And it has stayed quite high after that. I have quarreled in the net, for example, some professors who they don't know how to calculate these things even. Finnish THL, the health officials, they kept this kind of calculations until 2019. This is their idea, but they haven't published any figures since 2019. Why? We all know why. Because you can see that there is no pandemia, and the deaths start from the second shots. So there's no association to the claim pandemia in in mortality, in total mortality, but there's association to mRNA shots. This is quite clear. Oh, it works. In Finland, there are several studies that Finns trust in the media. There are 4 main journals or media in Finland, and Finns trust them. I don't know why, because they lie daily. But the circulation of the media, the papers and readers, they dropped like stone. So people have realized something, but still the according to studies, the trust to media is high. But they're usually done by the media itself, these studies. So Finland has traditionally been a high trust society. People have trusted each other, and even the officials and maybe some politicians, at least few. And I haven't figured out what's the reason for this, but I think it's from the cold climate. If you don't trust your neighbor or family members in the cold climate, you die in the snow. You have to trust your friends and countrymen, and it is now used to ruin the country and kill the people. So conclusions. If you watch the total mortality figures and the estimates based on the age, for example, from 1945, men were released from the front in 1944 autumn. 9 months since that, babies start to born, about 100,000 babies a year from 45 to 56. A large population. These people have started to come in the age when they die, and but this is not the reason for the extra mortality. Statistics Finland have calculated how many people should die according to the age, and you can calculate the difference between these. So according to my estimates, about 70,000 Finns have died more than they should have been. And this is in line with the several international studies from the Southern Hemisphere. They calculated that 70 million people have died from the mRNA shots. So this is in line with this. Media officials and politicians all lied. People died. It was never a question of virus pandemic or healthcare in general, but pandemia of corruption. There's a thorough story in my blog with 122 references, and it was written by a very prominent scientist who is still in the medicine business, has been over 30 years. He's highest education in the area, but he cannot tell his name because he would be fired immediately from the medicine company. So in Finland, this is very well documented what happened. Officials lied in every step. I busted them at least 3 times. They just lied. For example, emergency care units, they said that they are full with corona patients, but there was another official in Finland who had the figures of the whole country. And you can watch that they are half empty, emergency units. And hospitals are also empty. And nurses and doctors had so much free time that they danced in there and made videos. So Finland is also, again, according to the several studies, the happiest country in the world. Well, you can be happy if you don't know what the reality is. Happiness is a feeling. You can be happy and then you die. Thank you. That was.
Thank you, Ossi, for a wonderful lecture. Our next speaker is from...
Noin, siinä tuli Ossilta oikein hyvä tiivis puhe ja plörinän ajoilta, mitä silloin tapahtuu ja miten on nämä Suomen luvut ja muuta. Oleellinen juttu, ja tuo oli tosiaan tekoälyllä tehdyt tekstitykset, niin siellä on aina noita kielikukkasia tulee, mutta sitten kyllä päällisen puolin saa selkeästi pystyy ymmärtämään, mistä siinä on kyse. Ja Ossi puhui selkeätä englantiakin tuossa. Mutta jos Lonto ei taitu, niin kyllä noilla teksteillä pitäisi päästä ymmärrettyä. Ja sitten kun tuommoista munnettua totuutta on meille kerrottu, ja nyt meille kerrotaan tälläkin hetkellä kaikesta mahdollisesta. Nyt katsoin just se, niin meidän presidentti Alexander Stubb kertoo munnettua totuutta Venäjän noista inflaatioluvuista, kuolleisuusluvuista ynnä muuta. Et Suomeen johdetaan väärällä tiedolla ja sen takia meidän jälkemme on tämmöistä 178 miljardia ja 609 miljoonaa siihen päälle. Semmoista on meno Suomessa. Noniin, mutta morjetta tätä Tyrnävä Show'lta.